See this hole? This mess looks no good. When you're trying to make sexy looking videos in your garage gym, that right there is just not going to cut it. So right now, not only are we going to fix the wall, we are going to turn it into a legit handstand push-up wall. The great thing about YouTube is you don't actually have to do the work. All you have to do is just snap your fingers and it's done. So I currently have 3 layers of goals. The first layer is Ironman 70.3 Tasmania. That's a half Ironman. That's coming up in February. Now, I do have to work on all 3 of the disciplines, running, cycling and swimming. But I'm fearing for my life on swimming. So right now, swimming is the #1 priority. Oh, kill me now. I am also competing in CrossFit in December up in Brisbane, a pairs comp called Game Time. And I have been neglecting the good old painful CrossFit Metcon. So that is priority #2. Oh, I hate CrossFit so much. And then layer #3 are my single modality goals, like squatting 180 or snatching 110 or doing 15 unbroken muscle ups. So I've already swum today, I've already done a Metcon. Now to spend some time on those rings. Nice and simple, just 5 muscle ups every minute for 5 minutes. See if we can maintain that. I did borrow some wooden rings from a friend, so that should help the cause. Let's get it. Hoo-yah! Okay, while we're on the topic of ring muscle ups, I know that it's a super sought after skill or achievement for a lot of people. And so I thought today I wanted to give you my approach to getting your very first ring muscle up. But just before we do that, I want to show you a quick feature on the app that I use every single day. That is the Wattproof app. Rowing is one of those movements that we often neglect when it comes to technique. We don't spend time thinking about our rowing stroke technique the same way we think about our snatch technique, for example. Rowing is such a commonly used exercise in our gyms and our WODs, and you can honestly significantly improve your workout times that have rowing in it by just spending a little bit of time on technique every week. Take this workout as an example. 1 kilometer row, 30 deadlifts, and 60 pull-ups for time. If I open up my hips too early on the rower, I'm gonna completely fry my hamstrings and my lower back, and my deadlifts are gonna be so much slower. If I have an early arm pull on the row, I'm gonna completely fry my biceps, and my 60 pull-ups are gonna be a lot harder than they should be. So I encourage you, start incorporating a bit of rowing technique work during your warm-ups each week. Use the Wattproof Bionic Rowing Coach, and before you know it, you'll be flying past your gym rivals in those rowing workouts. Okay, let's get your first ring muscle up. You wanna get your first ring muscle up using what's called the false grip. Now, very much like the hook grip in Olympic lifting, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna suck to start with, but it's the only way, okay? And so I highly recommend you stick with it and try and get your first muscle up using the false grip. So that's your standard grip, ring in the palm of the hand. The false grip, the ring sits underneath your wrist. Now, when you use a standard grip to do a muscle up, when you get to the top of the ring, you're not in a great position for the dip. You kind of have to like rotate your hand around the ring to get into a good dip position. Whereas when you have a false grip and you get over the top of the ring, you're already in a great pressing position. So that's probably the biggest benefit using the false grip, is that it puts you in a great dip position without you having to rotate your hand mid muscle up. The second benefit is that you're actually shortening the lever. You're going from the rings being in the palm of the hand to being under the wrist. So you're shortening the lever by about that much. Now that might not look like much, but when you're doing a muscle up, trust me, it is significant. I would say in my coaching career, I've probably coached between 50 to 100 people to their first ring muscle up, all using the false grip. Just trust me, it's the way to go. So how do we get into the false grip? I find the best way is to throw your whole hand through, place the ring underneath your wrist, and then just tuck your thumb back, maintaining that hook around the bottom of the wrist. Okay, so the first thing you'll need to do is to strengthen your false grip. So I'm going to give you 3 exercises to do. You're gonna put a bit of chalk under the wrist. That's where the rings will sit. And the first exercise here is a simple ring row using that false grip. So get that false grip on both sides. We're gonna do these ring rows with a slightly bent elbow. So don't worry about straightening the elbows out. They can stay slightly bent. You're gonna pull into the chest and extend as far as you can. A nice simple false grip ring row. Okay, next up, we've got a simple bar hang. But instead of grabbing onto the bar, you're gonna tuck your whole hand over the bar, make a fist, tuck your whole hand over the bar so you're just resting on the wrist. You're gonna try and hang from the wrist. Oh yeah, there it is, just hanging from the wrist. Now obviously you can use a box to take a bit of weight, so rather than take your full body weight, you can just squat on the box and just slowly start to increase the amount of weight you take until you feel comfortable to actually hang off your wrist, like so. Oh yeah. Brutal. And number 3 is a false grip ring strict pull-up. So very much like the ring rows, we're going to do these with a slightly bent elbow. So establish your false grip, jump off the box and hang, and see if you can do some strict pull-ups without letting go of the false grip. Now this one and the bar hangs, they're pretty advanced. So for most of you, you're going to be on the ring rows for a little while, but I find the false grip is one of those things that feels really hard and then all of a sudden it feels really comfortable. It's going to feel foreign for a few weeks, but you'll turn up at the gym one day, get into that false grip, and all of a sudden it starts to feel familiar and normal. Okay, so you've spent a few weeks strengthening that false grip. It is now time to see if you can kip on the rings and not lose your false grip. What I recommend you do is have 2 boxes, one for each foot, and then you're going to be swinging in between. I don't have 2 boxes. I'm going to go 1 foot on here, 1 foot on the rig. I can establish my false grip. When I'm ready, I'm going to hang. I'm going to see if I can do some nice tight kips on the rings without losing my false grip. Now again, we're doing these kips with a slightly bent elbow, which is completely fine. Obviously we're going to progress to a standard muscle up with an extended elbow. That's the ultimate goal. Or maybe you might even get to a false grip with an extended elbow. That's very advanced. For now, just keep the elbow slightly bent. It's going to help you maintain that false grip and not slip out of it. Okay, it's the moment of truth. So let's say you can do 2 or 3 kips without losing that false grip. You've got the adequate pulling strength, then it's time to attempt your first ring muscle up. Now, ideally you want to have a coach next to you to kind of spot you through it, but the great thing about the false grip muscle up is that there's a lot less momentum than a standard swinging muscle up. So it's a lot closer to a strict muscle up, which makes it a lot safer. Okay, you're nice and tight, nice and close to the body, so there's a lot less risk of kind of losing the rings behind you. So let's see how we go. We're going to do 1 practice kip, and then the muscle up's going to happen on the second kip. I wouldn't worry about the press out, just focus on the catch and then come back out of it. Here we go, false grip's on. We're going to do 1 practice kip, that's number 1, and number 2, we're going to go up, sit through, just catch it and come back down. If you can, come back down and try and maintain the false grip. If you have really good pulling strength, but for some reason you haven't been able to get a muscle up, you might be able to get the strict. So you might be able to go false grip, strict muscle up. I don't think I've got one of these anymore. Let's try it. Let's see how we go. False grip's on. Let's just go stricty. Nah, I think I might have that if I warm up a bit more. I think I'm just too broad at the moment, just too thick. Nah, just nah. And that is it, team. Be diligent, spend the time strengthening that false grip. Eventually, see if you can do some kips, and then ask your coach to come and spot you through your first attempt. I would absolutely love to hear some stories about people getting their first muscle ups after watching this video. So if you do, make sure you film it, tag me in it. Would love to see it. Hey guys, stay sexy, keep roaring love, and I'll see you next week. Mwah.